Fox 5 on the Hill. You know, for months now, we've been talking to you about the odyssey of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore that may get full federal funding as part of the hurricane relief bill that is now in the hopper. So what's going to happen with that? Let's find out. Welcome back in. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland this morning for more on this. Senator, good to see you this morning. How are you?
Tom, it's always good to be with you.
Likewise. Good. So what's the news here, Senator? Where are we with the funds for this bridge? Because we've been talking about this for a while.
So the good news is that the replacement for the Key Bridge is already part of what we call the emergency relief program, which means that the federal government will pay 90%. So Senator Cardin, Congressman Fume, and I have been focused on meeting the president's pledge and past practice of making sure it becomes 100%. So the answer to your question is at the end of this calendar year, when we take up the bills to provide appropriations for the current fiscal year that we're already in, but we're operating under a short-term CR, that we would at that point in time make it clear that 100% federal funds will be available for the replacement of the Key Bridge.
Senator, I was on the 695 Beltway around Baltimore on Friday and was just amazed at the number of trucks on that road right now. It seems unsustainable about where we are with our highways and our roads. Did it take such a horrible disaster like this to get people to wake up about the importance of these issues, our roads, our bridges, the way people get around? This is a critical issue for people, not only just, for their lives, but also their jobs as well.
Well, that's very true, which is why we did pass the infrastructure modernization bill just a few years ago. President Biden made that a priority. The Congress, on a bipartisan basis, passed that legislation. But, Tom, as you point out, the collapse of the bridge has created even more intense traffic problems, congestion issues around the Baltimore area. The good news is we were able to reopen the port very quickly by clearing the channel, but replacing the bridge will take time. But I will emphasize the fact that the president, in that letter that you just discussed earlier, that he sent to Congress on Friday, in addition to talking about the need to provide relief for Hurricane Hollen, also mentioned these other issues, including the Key Bridge, including also support for the folks who were hit by the wildfires in Hawaii and some others. So by the end of the year, we should be dealing with this. Now, we should also, in my view, come back and finish up the issues that with respect to the Small Business Disaster Relief Fund, because that fund will be depleted before November 12th. So I do think Congress needs to find a way to get that done on an immediate basis.
Yeah, the to-do list is getting long here. Senator, we're 30 days out from the election. Obviously, the body in which you occupy, the United States Senate, is hanging in the balance as a result of this election. Where do you see the race closest to your backyard right now, the contest for the open Maryland U.S. Senate seat between Republican former Governor Larry Hogan and Prince George's executive Angela Alsobrooks?
Well, I think the polling shows recently that Angela Alsobrooks is in a strong position, but that she needs to really keep, fighting to get first over the finish line. She's done a great job as county executive of Prince George's County. People around the rest of the state are learning about that important record. And people are also waking up to the fact that a vote for Larry Hogan is a vote to put Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz and the Republicans in charge of the United States Senate. That's just simple political math. I mean, we're essentially at 50-50 right now. So the very first vote that Larry Hogan would cast would be for the head of his caucus. He's made clear that he will caucus with Republicans. So that's the first and most important vote, because that decides who gets the gavel. So regardless of whether somebody thought that Larry Hogan did a good job or a bad job as governor, this is a very different position with very different consequences.
One of the recent polls, though, found that there were a double-digit number of voters who were considering crossing ballot, meaning that they would cast a vote for Kamala Harris, switch over to the Republican column, vote for Hogan, and then go back to, Maryland Democrats. Is that a real concern for Democrats right now, that people might switch columns?
Well, this is exactly why I think all those Democrats need to understand the consequences of a vote for Larry Hogan for Senate, because Democrats who may have voted for Larry Hogan for governor should understand the political math right now in the United States Senate. Larry Hogan has been very clear that he would support, the Republican leadership, that he will vote, and that's the very first vote that he will cast, is to elect, Republican leadership. So if Republicans gain the majority in the United States Senate, and it's 50-50 effectively right now, then that does mean that, all the people I mentioned, Mitch McConnell and the MAGA Republicans, will be in charge of the Senate. Lindsey Graham will be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Ted Cruz would be the chairman of the Commerce Committee. So that would be the consequence of voting for Larry Hogan in the Senate seat.
Senator, we appreciate your time. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen joining us live this morning. Thank you.
Good to be with you.